couple days ago I noticed that one of the clearance lights was burnt out on the ORV. So I climbed up there to change the bulb, and lo and behold, look what I find. Every one of these clearance lights has got some real hard caulking on top of it. And if I look inside here, I can see plenty of evidence of leaking. So just changing this light bulb out isn't going to be enough. I got to figure out what to do here. I think what I'm going to do is try to replace these incandescent bulbs with LEDs, and then possibly I can caulk around here and permanently seal these. And the reason to go with an LED is so I don't have to pull these off again. So that's my plan. With quite some difficulty, I was able to get the lens off the top of the fixture, and I almost had to chisel that white goop off. And if you look at the gasket, you can see that there's mold inside of it, which is clear evidence of leaking. So these definitely need to be fixed. I actually bought a new teardrop clearance light just to see why it is that these things leak. And it's very apparent to me why. Anybody that's ever shingled a house or roofed a house realizes that you have to have one layer over the other like that to shed water. Well, this does not do that. Instead, this cups the water. And we're going to open this up and I'll kind of show you what I mean. This has a little, looks like a white fiber washer to waterproof the hole in the top. And you'll see here that this is kind of like a cup, especially if I pull the gasket out. You see there where it's just got a ridge? Well, this sits on top of it. Well, of course that's going to leak. I mean, who would design something like that? Wouldn't you design it so this yellow goes over the white? Also, it's only fastened down in one spot here. And quite often, this does not even fit right inside where it's supposed to. And you can evidence that a little bit with this gasket. You'll see an imprint around the gasket of the lens, except for on the very end where it kind of misses. So I'm just amazed at this RV stuff, how little, I mean, this is almost ignorance, the way this is designed. And yeah, they're going to leak. And I got 5 examples on my RV showing that they do leak. So if I had my druthers, I would replace these, every one of them. But that's quite a big chore, you know. I'd have to pull the old ones off and get all the caulking off, and I think it's going to be just better to change over to LEDs and caulk them and be done with it. My grand plan is to replace the number 67 light bulbs in my fixtures with these LED equivalents. And I bought these on Amazon. They were, I don't know, $7, something like that a piece. And they are just about the same size, and so I'm going to put these LEDs in place of the incandescent bulbs, and then I'm going to silicone seal the whole thing so I'll never have to worry about leaks again. On the left we have a number 67 bulb, and on the right a LED replacement. And if I bring them closer, you can see that they are fairly close to the same size, although the LED is just slightly taller than the incandescent. But otherwise, I think they should work. One of the tests I'm going to do is to compare the light output between the incandescent number 67 bulb and the LED. Now I realize this probably is not a 100% legitimate test because of the radiation pattern between the two types of bulbs, whereas the 67 incandescent bulb is more of a omnidirectional, where the LEDs are highly directional, but at least it'll give us some kind of indication of the relative power outputs between the two. So I simply have this light fixture hooked up to a test battery, and I'm going to plug it in, and you can see maybe on the meter it went from about 2, which was ambient, to just around 6. And now I'm going to swap out to the LED, which means I'll end up moving this, but I've marked here and here for both of these to make sure they go back in the same spot. Well, now we're swapped out to the LED, and I've returned this fixture to this exact same spot. We're still measuring around 2. and the LED is just slightly less. I mean, maybe 5% less. If I move this over like that, now it's measuring exactly the same as the incandescent bulb. Well, now it comes time to button this back up, and I did notice that it looks like they put some sealant underneath this screw and this screw, so I don't think, even with water in here, I don't think it got down inside the coach. So what I'm going to do is put a bead of silicone around here, and I'm using some good 3M silicone sealant, and then we'll set it in there and set it in and see what happens. Okay, we're done with putting this on. So now we're going to bed this in, the silicone. There we go. Then I put a number 60 O-ring under the head of the screw. That should help waterproof this, but I'm going to put a little bit of silicone here too. So we got this all installed, and the reason I use silicone is hopefully if I ever actually have to open this up, it's not so bad that I can't get it open. If I use another type of sealant, I probably would never get it off again, but silicone is at least a little bit favorable in that regard. So hopefully I won't be having any more leak issues with my clearance lights.